everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to another one of our podcasts. And I'm so fortunate today to have Terri Guerra, one of my dearest friends, one of Bernstein Realty's absolutely best agents. And how long have you been in the real estate business?
I got my license in the late 1880s. It feels like it. 1980s, I think early 90s, and I've been going ever since. So I've had a lot of different hats in the real estate industry, but I love real estate. It is so different every day, and it's so much fun, and I love talking with the buyers and the sellers and figuring out the marketing for how are we going to sell this house and how are we going to highlight these buyers with this seller.
I think that I think what is interesting about real estate is so many people think, when you're in real estate, you go out and just show pretty houses and sell pretty houses, which is such a small part of what we do, and how to get a house marketed and how to get a house sold and the creativity to get from that contract to that closing all involves so many steps. And I think when I think of you, Terri, I think of your top characteristics, and I think that one of your very best characteristics is you're a total people person, and that's totally real estate. You are a person that never takes no for an answer, and I think that's real estate. And I think up on the very top is the professionalism, but even higher than that is the creativity, because I think you have to be creative in this business. And when I think about creative people, in all the qualities I just mentioned, you have every single one of them. But I don't know many people as creative as you. And so when you give Terri a job, it gets done. And she's going to find a way to do it.
And that's the most fun, because in real estate, I can't market a house in the Heights the same way you market high-end real estate in River Oaks or Tanglewood or Memorial. So you do have to get creative. How do we entice those buyers to come and take a look at it? So that is the most fun. And one thing that I love working at Bernstein Realty is that the marketing department is amazing, and you could go in and talk about this is what I want to do, and this is my idea, and they take it and run with it. It's amazing. It is, and it's so nice that you don't put everybody into a little box. This is the way it's supposed to be, and this is the way we're going to do our marketing. You also think outside the box. How can we do this to bring this home to light? How do we make it shine? How do we highlight all its features?
Absolutely.
And you don't have that little box that everybody wants to put in because that's my brand.
Because not everybody markets the same, and not every neighborhood has the same marketing avenues. And so your neighborhood that you live in, obviously in the Heights, you're passionate about it. And not only are you passionate about it, you're very active in the community as well. You don't do anything just a little, right? So you jump in and you live in the Heights, you sell real estate all over the place, but your passion is the Heights and the surrounding areas of the Heights. And so tell us a little bit about the Heights and what you love about the Heights.
I've been in the Heights for over 30 years, almost 35 years, and it is really a small town. Inside the loop, near downtown, it's close to everything.
It's a little pocket that a lot of people are not 100% always aware of.
Right.
Yes.
And it's very walkable. My husband and I, we like to walk to the restaurants there. I rarely go outside of my neighborhood to eat or shop or go have a cocktail with friends or happy hour.
Because everything's just right there.
Because it's just right there. Yeah. And if I want to have Indian food or Italian food or Mexican food or what have you, it's right there. And it has changed so much. It's evolved so much over the years.
What year did you move into the Heights?
I moved in, in 1989.
Wow. So you've really seen big changes.
And when I moved there, I wanted to know what I did in a former life to deserve this. It was scary. I didn't go to the grocery store after 6 o'clock.
Seriously? In 1989?
Yeah.
Wow. It's not so long ago.
It wasn't. And now if it's 2:00 in the morning, my dog wants to go for a walk, let's go. And I don't even think twice about it.
Wow.
So it's
So
really changed.
tell us the majority of the changes in the Heights, both from just an area perspective as far as the neighborhood and what draws people to the Heights, and then just the houses, what you're seeing happen in the housing market in the Heights.
I think what draws people to the Heights is that it's eclectic. It's not the cookie cutter house. Your house, you could be right next door to me, and my house is completely different from your house.
I love that.
Yes.
That's unique.
It is
to
very
Houston.
unique.
Yes.
And then we have the old historic properties, and then we have new construction as well. And one thing that I love about the Heights is there is, a group of us that love the historic nature of the older houses, and we really work with people to remodel those houses, not tear down. We don't really like to have houses torn down and the big McMansions built, but the ones that can't be salvaged, and then the new constructions that go up, they are also,
unique.
Unique with the theme of the neighborhood.
Yeah, with the Heights theme.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and what do you think the Heights theme is, really?
Well, it's a bit of everything. We've got the young professionals, we've got the artists, we've got the musicians, we've got the professionals.
But the themes of the houses are
the Victorian craftsmen. They're just beautiful woodwork and detail. I love how now when they're doing the remodel, they're keeping with the style and the character. You have some original pieces with the new. It's amazing.
When I think of the Heights, I do think of Victorian, but it seems like lately you don't see as many Victorians, but you do see beautiful woodwork.
Yes,
and beautiful craftsmanship in the woodwork versus just some big boxes that you see in a lot of neighborhoods.
Right.
You just see the detail. I would say it's charming.
It is very
That's the
charming.
best word that I can use for the Heights.
It is. And my house was built in the 1920s.
Wow.
And it was a fourplex.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, and the person who was remodeling it gutted it and made it into a single family. So it's very open, and it's a traditional 4 square. So 4 rooms, upstairs and downstairs. And when we first bought it, my husband was like, "This is the ugliest thing I've ever seen." I'm like, "We can make it better."
Yeah, you had the vision.
Yeah. And so we changed the exterior, we changed the interior a bit, and it feels like home. And,
it's gorgeous.
And it's hard to believe that it's 100+ years old.
I know. When I go there, I cannot believe. I didn't know it was that old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's amazing. And the people on my street have been there as long as I have. We've been there over 30 years.
Wow.
And a lot of my neighbors are original neighbors like me.
You have a nice big lot, so you can get some nice sized lots in the Heights as well.
Yes. They're fewer and far between, but you can still get some.
Well, tell us a little bit about the historic nature of the Heights. Even myself, I get a little confused as to what you can do. I always have to call to find out, to make sure I'm giving the right information. But what are the things you can and can't do when you buy a historic home?
Well, you have to check with the city, first and foremost. You have to check with the city, and you have to check with the civic associations, because we have the Heights Association and we have the Woodland Heights Association. You also have Norhill, Proctor Plaza. And they have specific rules and regulations for their deed restrictions if you're in a historic neighborhood.
Gotcha.
There's several little districts of historic neighborhoods in the Heights area. Some are not. Some properties are deed restricted, some are not. So you have to have an agent who knows.
Gotcha.
What
you can and what you can't do.
Right.
Can you tear a historic home down?
It's hard because there's conforming and there's not conforming. So if the house is conforming and the remodeling costs would be prohibited, you have to go to the city and make an application and things like that.
So sometimes people get nervous a little bit about the windows and things like that. So really you just have to get with an agent that truly can guide you where to go to find out.
Because they want to make sure that the exterior stays the same. Now, inside the house, you can do your changes that you want to do. If you're going to add on, there's different rules and regulations, and again, you have to combine that with the deed restrictions as well. So it's a process. So you really do.
So consult a professional is the most
Definitely.
important thing.
Most important thing is to consult a
And
professional.
then in your free time, real estate wise, you also serve as on the Houston Association of Realtors and have been for a long time when there's a dispute. So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about that.
So that's with Texas Realtors.
Oh, the Texas Realtors.
Texas Realtors, and I have been on.
So that's the TAR, Texas Association of Realtors.
Yes. So I have been on the ethics committee for since 2000, so 23 years.
Such an important committee.
And I got on it because I wanted to learn what not to do. And I stay on it because I learn something new every single time.
And then
I
you
go.
bring it to the office and share with us, which is
Yes.
a true perk.
So what the ethics committee does is if there's a dispute between a realtor, consumer realtor, they can file a complaint, an ethics complaint. And then it goes to a tribunal, and if it has could be an ethics violation on its face, and then it goes to a hearing panel, and we listen to those disputes and we make a decision.
Wow.
So it's very enlightening because you really learn what not to do.
And how bad something is when it happens, how it impacts so many things.
Yes.
Yes.
And then in addition to that, I was a mediator, but now I do ombudsman.
Ombudsman.
And the
that's right.
ombudsman program is a voluntary, and it's usually over the phone mediation between parties, and it's usually client to realtor. And if they have a dispute, I try to work it out between the two parties before it goes into a formal complaint.
Gotcha.
A lot of times I can work it out. A lot of times I can't, and then it goes into the
I
formal
bet you
complaint.
at least 80% of the time you work it out.
I have a really good track record because, believe it or not, the biggest thing that I see on the ethics and ombudsman is communication.
Yes.
And if
I
somebody
would say.
just picked up the phone and made a phone call, 90% of this would go away.
Yes.
And a lot of
That's
times...
life, isn't it?
It really
Yes.
is. A lot of times, people just want to hear, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. And if people would just do that, I would probably be out of a job for
Yes,
ethics.
right. But that's interesting how it always boils down to communication. and good
Always
communication.
boils down to communication. If you just picked up the phone,
Yes.
or if you responded to something, or just said, "Oh, I made a mistake," or the other person, let's see what we can work out. It would go away.
Agreed.
And people just have too much pride, I think.
Yes. So thank you again for tuning into our podcast. I hope you'll tune into future podcasts. And remember, your home is our expertise.